Good afternoon, everyone. It is December 4th, 2022. What we're looking at is the weekly outlook for this week coming up. That is going to be December 4th until, what would that be, December 9th. Before we get into that, I just want to get into what we had last week and then we can move on from there. So, this is what we had last week as our outlook. We came in on, I believe it'd be the 27th. Yeah, 27th. Sunday sold off into that pivot almost to the tick and within a few points. Got our ramp, came back down, caught a bid during the RTH, eventually sold off. And I was thinking if we got into these 45s again, we would end up breaking this 13 area and crap out. But instead, we did manage to hold the bid again. Globex was sleepy as we expected, given the news day coming up. And we had another move down to the 45s, and then that huge ramp upon news, breaking 07s, breaking the highs of the prior few weeks, and getting into this yearly VWAP. And that is where we closed on the month. That is where the high of the month came in at November. High of the month coming in at 83 half, I believe. The close at 83 or 82 half. After that, we turned around, tried to make a run upwards, could not, and we instead sold off right to the top of this zone, which is 4054.75. That being just 2021's value area low. I've harped on this number for a number of months, and once again, it's showing up to be an important spot. So we saved it there. We had more news come out, I think on Friday it was, cleaned out, and I was saying we're still overall pretty bullish and should be looking to buy on dips as long as we're trading in that kind of above that 4,000 to 4,020 area, if not 05 to 15, if you wanted to really condense it, or 05 to 17. And we ended up holding the bid, I think 3 ticks off of where I had the level here, at 07 half. Um, Ramped up, made it into weekly or monthly VWAP, I suppose, and held that 50 area again and ramped back up into yearly VWAP and the prior high of the month in November and kind of closed around here. And notably, our close and weekly POC both coming in at 40.75 ish. We can take a look over here. Just the weekly profile. Something I want to note, and maybe turning on a 30-minute might be clearer. Let's just zoom in for you guys and we can fatten this up just a little bit. There we go. We've done a lot of volume up here, perhaps evident of some sort of distribution, and the middle is quite thin. The bottom also being quite thick. So we've got this double distribution happening, and the middle of it is just quite empty. So I will be using 40.25, the weekly halfback, as a pivot. I think if you get into there, you're back inside November's value, you're back below the halfback on the week, and you just start clearing out this poor structure, and we get down to at least the 72 to 68 area. Quite a bit of stuff in there. The November POC, the Q3 POC, Q3 half, the prior week's value area low. You have a couple weekly lows stacked up on top of each other at 37 half and 41 quarter. I think this area gets tested upon a break here, and we may spend some time afterwards filling it out. So I would be looking for something like this. If we break 40.25, you kind of test this area in general, and then we spend some time filling it out in here before maybe moving back up. So if we go ahead and put that on a chart, this is what we have. 40.25s as our pivot, the white level. Still watching 51s. Maybe I'll go ahead and slide that up to 54.75. 86, our yearly VWAP. I'm still watching 41.37 and 55 quarter. I still would like that to be tagged. I thought it was odd we could not get to 41.37. So I would like to see that get hit above some other areas of interest we don't need to get into, I think, for now. Below, again, I'm watching that 72, 45, and 14s. There is one more thing I want to point out, and that is on the higher time frames. I think everyone and their mother has this right now. Just a trend line from the all-time high going down to that March high, and then where it was almost tested in August, and now where we have tested it in December. Likewise, we have a trend line going from the low of the year to where it's tested in early November, again in sort of mid-November, and once again right before this bullish move upwards. And what we're having is just a convergence of these two trend lines. I don't think there's anything magical about these trend lines, other than it's a sense of overall momentum by the bulls and bears. And until we get a firm close above or below by, at least 25, 50 or so points, I wouldn't look too much into it. But it is evidence that we may have a consolidation of ranges as bulls and bears both try and see if the bears will try and test these lower bounds, see if they can break that momentum. That it's just, all it is an idea of the pace of change on either side. It's nothing. It's nothing really more than that. The market profile guys might call it one time framing up or down. That's how they like to measure it. The trend line guys like to just draw diagonal lines. It's nothing really more to me than that. So that is something to note, is that these ranges may be getting smaller. News-wise, not a lot this week. ISM on Monday, Thursday unemployment, Friday PPI, and U of M. There is some smaller news throughout the week, but no Fed heads talking, which is nice to see. So we should be able to get some cleaner price action with less of these, less of these sorts of moves. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys this week. Next week, there may or may not be a weekly outlook. I am out of town until January 7th, so we'll see. Anyway, trade safe, you guys, and try and use this as a guide. Don't. I'm a day trader. I'm not a weekly guy, but this is just a guide to get an idea of where we're trading in general. So hope that helps, and trade safe.